You were ready for today, weren't you?
1,000%.
Oh man, I tell you, I should probably I did my hair and makeup today, so
Yes, show
how
it.
you doing? Show it, show it. We are actually coming to a end of our scheduled shows today, but you're not going to hold back today, right? You
Not
got a
getting
whole
rid of
new
me,
setup
man.
thing. Yeah, yeah. Summer vacation is in. The kids are there.
Yes.
You've had a whole team effort to
The
put.
whole crew is
Yeah,
home.
a whole crew was home, got you ready. You got ready for this show. I'm ready. I had to, pick up the picante and get ready for you.
The first time I finally have earbuds to spare you some sanity with the sound check and blowing out your eardrums.
I did not complain at all. I just want you to
Never,
know
you never
that
did.
this is, well, not all complaining is bad, but sometimes timing is more important. And your timing is perfect. On our last show together, scheduled, future projects, of course, will come. But we wanted to get this subject about narcissistic families. I've got a chrome dome. My head is lit up. I just noticed that. Anyhow, so let's do this. And I really want to get as much in as possible. The shows that we have done before, you got your entire tribe there today, don't you? So the
They're
shows
tuned
that we
in. They're
yeah.
very distracting.
Is Joe right there? Is Joe there? Tell Joe I said hi, by the way. I forget to say
Paxton
everybody.
says hi, Joe.
Yeah, Mr. Batman.
He
So let's
brought
do
me
this.
Chick-fil-A.
Man, I'm hating him already. All right. I
Oh
used to
my
like
God.
him.
I know you have it on the West Coast, right? You have
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
fairly new over here. So,
Oh,
you
okay.
know what? It was a redemption day because he threw out my leftover chicken nuggets the other week. I was mad at him for 2 days. So
Uh,
he went
two
above and
days.
beyond
He went
to
above. So
make up for that.
so Chick-fil-A gets you happy again after
He's
two
in
days.
my good graces again.
Well,
Yes.
well noted. Well noted. Okay, let's get this started here. A
Okay,
number
go
of
ahead.
people wanted to get some encouragement and motivation and mainly reassurance today because they're dealing with you have an
I am
audience.
your girl. Yeah.
You're my girl Friday. So here we go on a Tuesday. Adults carrying childhood trauma gravitate to similar unhealthy relationships throughout life. Shed some
Hmm.
light on this posting that you had on Instagram Reels today.
Yeah, I literally just posted this morning. I could not get the Eminem song out of my head with Rihanna. It's so appropriate. It's just, oh my goodness, I can't tell you how many people I have conversed with that are in this situation or that have been in this situation. Thank God I am out of this situation. The loser that I was with about 20, I had a blonde moment. I was making no disrespect to blondes, but I was making a YouTube video last week and I was going back in my mind because it feels like ages ago, like lifetimes ago, but it was like 2005. And I was like, that was about 20 years ago. And it took me a lot longer than it should have to figure that. Anyway, so it was in 2005. I was with that loser, and we're actually engaged, unfortunately. But it was all for optics, you know. He had to make himself look good, but he discarded me. Once I started to wake up to the mistreatment, the constant disrespect, he didn't like that I was kind of pushing back, that I was asserting myself.
Hmm.
And that's what they do. They get rid of you because they can't deal with it. They can't deal with any you know, anyone challenging them or giving them what they deserve, putting them in their place. So um
I gotta throw this in because it pops up on the screen. Of the refrain, by the way, I'll give a wave out. You can give a wave out too. Just give wave to of the refrain for being here. But he mentioned he had to go get some sodas. So so I hope you have your sodas and you're here in the show. Appreciate it. A big deal. Um,
definitely.
he's agreeing with you on what you're mentioning there. I have to ask you about the disrespect. Again, a number of shows that we do, 90% of the shows we do is because of the audience, the feedback that we get. Our shows are audience driven.
Yeah.
We're not chasing numbers, subscriptions, and all the above. We welcome all the connections, and we respect all of you for supporting us. But I have to
Love
talk
that.
about the disrespect that you went through. When you say disrespect, someone's going through it. A number of people wrote in about the previous shows that we've done together. I don't know, is it 4 or 5? I can forget how many it is now, that we just did in this series. But they wanted you to speak more to them.
Yeah.
We've done awareness in the first shows. Today's show is more to those of you who are experiencing narcissistic families, toxic situations, and a number of other things, because you've asked for some encouragement. So that's what Michelle's going to do today by
I'm your
sharing her
girl.
experience and how she navigates these situations and still holds on to her dignity. Long way to get back to where I wanted to go to. Disrespect.
I'm with
What do
you.
you mean? What does it look like, feel like, so somebody can understand when you're talking about the disrespect that you receive?
It's just off the charts. You know, when you grow up in a toxic, dysfunctional home, it's like you're conditioned to tolerate that mistreatment. You're conditioned to put yourself last because your toxic parent, the narcissist, is always first, and you're forced into codependency essentially. What that means, what that looks like, is that this parent is, oh, and typically, by the way, BT dub, a lot of narcissistic parents, they have a comorbidity, which means that they have more than one disorder going on. Like in my example, my mother, the narcissistic mother, I don't like to use these terms of endearment, you know, without putting them in quotes because they don't deserve the titles. But my narcissistic mother, she was definitely histrionic as well, which is similar to borderline, but histrionic is someone with excessive responses to like super dramatic, essentially, in a nutshell. It's just someone that's constantly she's always fighting for attention or doing whatever it takes to elicit attention from everyone.
In your
I'm literally right next to the refrigerator. I'm sorry.
no, you're doing fine. Hey, you know what? Low budget show, high caliber guests. You're doing great. I'm gonna put something up on
Thank
the
you.
screen because I'm taking information from your page. What
They
does this mean?
condition you when you grow up in that type of a household to put yourself last. You know, they are dismissing your emotions. They are dismissing all of your feelings. You're not entitled to your feelings. It's absurd. And
Okay,
as a child, it's like,
then you lay the groundwork for me to ask you about this. I'm gonna put this up on the screen. Did you find
yes.
yourself in this dynamic, the narcissistic family structure, always seeking validation then?
You know, yeah, you look for it, but you don't get it. You never get that. It wasn't until, look, I started this whole platform, the Bumped, Bruised, and Blessed platform, at 39. I was 39 years old when I finally put everything together, and I got the validation thanks to YouTube. I do have my graduate degrees in psychology, but it took a YouTube video to finally
Or
put
to make
everything
sense,
into,
to put
yeah, to
everything
put
together?
everything to perspective for me. Yeah.
Okay,
So
so
that's why we pay it forward, right, man? Like you make things accessible to people, and
yeah,
that's priceless.
yeah. And so from when you had you went to college, you had experience there, psychology, a number of things, but then a YouTube video came along. Between when you were learning through psychology and the YouTube video, what was your life like?
You know, I've said this before, and this was actually helpful in our last show. I said I gravitated to psychology because growing up in that dysfunctional, terrible, but it's so passive aggressive and covert. Child, you can't put your finger on it. You're like, I have two parents. We live in a great house. And like, why am I so miserable? You can't figure it out. It's like the optics, again, as I was saying, it's like I had a nuclear family, right? I had two parents, a mom and a dad. And I had an older brother who was a flying monkey scapegoat. Or no, excuse me, I'm the scapegoat. He was a flying monkey golden boy, rather. And then there was me, and it was like everybody was always treating me like garbage. And I was like, why? But it was covert. It was like behind the scenes, you know? I was like, so why am I so unhappy? Why do I feel so terrible all the time?
Mhm.
It's just this looming feeling, you know, like that something's off. So that's why I gravitated to psychology, as a lot of people do. It's like you're just trying to, and this is a sad post that I read one time, and it hit home. It was like, you know, children from abusive households, emotionally, mentally, psychologically abusive, they gravitate to like psychology, astrology, and all of the above. I'm into it. And they do it because they so desperately want to be understood, because they want to understand other people, because it would have meant the world to us to be understood, for somebody to take that time us. And no one ever did. No one ever prioritized us, like even our own flipping parents. So that, I'm sorry, back to that reel that you put up. It just, you're conditioned to that type of mistreatment and disrespect is normalized. It's all you know, as a child, you don't have the luxury of comparing your life to other people's. Like, you don't see what's going on in other people's households. So it's normalized. So that's all you know. So you grow up, and, I met my amazing husband in college, and, I still hear about it, but we did fall madly in love with each other. And it was so healthy.
It is the same.
And
This is the same person that you were mad at for 2 days.
this is Joe, yes.
Okay, you gonna have to fix that, girlfriend. You got
I know. I have no reason to
you
ever be
can't tell
mad
me
at
he's
him.
amazing and then tell him, no lovey-dovey for 2 days.
He's a good guy. I
Giving me evil
know.
eyes. I'm just messing with you. Hey, I've got to ask you about this. Because again, audience driven. The audience loves listening to you because they can connect with you because they've had shared experience. Others may hear this and it doesn't work for them. We understand that. That's why we put a lot of
Yeah.
people on. But there are individuals who've learned from you. But I've got something for you. I just love doing this. So are you
Love it.
ready? Here we go. I'm going to put something on the screen, and people are looking for a little insight from you because you have a shared experience. Here we go. Tell me, when I put this up on the screen, what's the difference between these two things that you will notice on the screen? Compassion versus manipulation. How can someone start to see the red flags and see when someone is truly compassionate versus when someone is just, well, they're faking it because they're really being passive aggressive and manipulative?
Yeah, most certainly. Compassion is genuine, authentic, someone you, I always say this to people as well. I hear this over and over again. Always trust your gut. Always trust your intuition. And when we are being abused by a narcissist, be it a parent or a partner, they discredit you all the time, over and over and over again. They gaslight the heck out of you. Hey, it's 222, by the way. That's a good number. But they gaslight the heck out of you. So they make you question everything you feel, everything you think. Silly examples from my family of origin. They used to do terrible things to me, and I would be like, what planet would that be okay? Like, I would be like, that is bad all across the board. Like, for example, when I broke up with Joe, one of the numerous times, my loser brother, the golden boy, and his evil wife, they set Joe up with someone else. I was like, man, you don't do that to a friend. You sure as heck don't do that to your sister. I was like, anyway. But as I was like kind of, at odds over that, I was like, do you not see this? And they're like, no, what are you talking about? Like I'm crazy for feeling that way. So compassion is when someone can authentically, like we feel that way towards one another, like we've been in these situations, like I'm overflowing with compassion. That's why I can't let anyone go through this without validating them and helping them. And manipulation is just narcissists they just put up their phony front to try to weasel their way into situations for example, when our son passed away, or our son was diagnosed with brain cancer, narcissists came out of the woodwork, right? Particularly my narcissistic mother and, henchman, code 8 enabler father. People were so kind to my husband and they couldn't do it, like genuinely good people that had compassion. But then there was like people like my family was riding our coattails, like just trying to manipulate the situation into their favor, as well as like an external narcissist that I realized in hindsight, Joe and I were so vulnerable at the time. Like we were just so open and receptive to anyone. And this particular person we thought was being so kind, in reality was just being manipulative to kind of garnish some of the spotlight for themselves. It was like absurd.
You have of the refrain mentioning a number of things. He's talking about gaslighting and triangulation kills people emotionally. Without a doubt, creates a problem. What else do you have here for us? Double binds and almost
it's like fatal. Death by 1,000 cuts. It's like it's like a double-edged. It's like you can't win. Like you feel the right way, like feelings are feelings. They are what they are. Like you just acknowledge them, but it's wrong, right? And then if you go along with what the toxic abusers want, that's wrong too, because they're making you compromise yourself. And totally, I understand that, the double bind thing.
Now that you touched on compassion versus manipulation, get ready for this. Here we go. Healing versus recovery. What's the difference? How can a person start to know this? Again, these are things that from the previous shows have been accumulated from the viewers, and we're going to try to touch on as much as we can. If I leave some of them out, I know that I'm going to need to do so because of time. I will bring them into other shows, so don't think that I've ignored some of the stuff you sent me. These are the ones we're going to talk about right now. Michelle and I will regroup and we'll bring up another show another time and talk about what I missed today. So everybody, don't think I ignored you. I love each and every one of you very much. But healing versus recovery, when it comes to that, how can a person know, or is there a difference between the two?
I mean, they're kind of one and the same, but I could identify a differential here. Healing is like things that I've noticed about myself personally. I'm super excited. I have a couple books that will be on the horizon at some point. My first one will be out.
Author lady.
So my first one will be around the fall of this year, 2022. So like September, October, it'll be out. But I'm fortunate that I was able to like document my journey from the beginning. Like I said, 2019 is when I really started to identify what was happening, the, dysfunctional dynamic from my family of origin. And I started like writing like my whole Instagram platform, and I started my YouTube as well. I took a narcissistic abuse coaching class. I did not go that route because I like providing information this way to make it accessible to everyone. But so I started with my Instagram, and I was able to go back and I read things that I had written initially to now,
Mhm.
and the growth is exponential. You know, silly things about myself I noticed, like sarcasm, people pleasing, like one of my posts was like have you ever apologized to an inanimate object, like you bump into a chair? Yes,
I
yes.
had a feeling you were going to bring that up. I
That
saw
was,
that.
yeah, that was a good one, man.
Yeah.
It was like if you ever bumped into like a chair, you're like, oh, sorry, sorry. Like you're always apologizing. You're over apologizing for no reason. And
I
it's
would
like,
I love that one. But
yeah,
why is that important what you're saying right now? Why is it important that a person reflects on that kind of that kind of information, that if they're literally saying I'm sorry to inanimate objects, what does that show about their mindset?
you're always at fault, right? That we were taught that we were a burden in some way, that all of those toxic beliefs that we talked about in our last show, you know, it's just you are just these people destroy your sense of self. They destroy your confidence, your whole identity, like everything healthy that should, you know, people that love you should be building up. Your parents, of course, need to be building, setting the foundation of healthy self awareness, and they're absolutely tearing it down. They're just sabotaging you. So when you start doing things like that, like you're a pleaser, you apologize to inanimate objects, like that's just indicative of you taking the blame all the time. It's just what we do as victims. So I noticed that about myself, that I don't do that anymore. I'm like, oh my goodness, like I've come so far. So that's
So
healing. It's like recovering your identity.
so there are a lot of inanimate objects in your home that are upset with you because you don't apologize. Is that what you're telling us today? Is that
I guess, yes. That's
okay,
what
all
we're
right.
at.
That's what
But
we're
also
looking.
sarcasm. You know, sarcasm is
Okay.
another thing I identified, Paxton. I was so excited about this. I used to be so sarcastic all the time. It's kind of like a passive aggressive way to express your frustration, because
Yeah.
obviously it's super frustrating being put in this position where you're always silenced or just being made to feel the way we are, like as we're always problems, we're always the bad one, right? So I'm not sarcastic anymore. It's my husband loves it. It's miraculous. That's healing, man. Recovery has a lot to do with healing.
Oh, so Joe loves it. Man, I wish I could.
Loves it.
He feel if he feels any love for me, he stick
We'll
his
do
head
a
in.
show
He
one
stick his
time
head. Yes,
with Joe.
you know what? That's what we're gonna do next time. We're
He'd
gonna
be
do a
happy to
two-part
do that,
show.
Paxton. Are
We're
you
gonna
kidding
do.
me? He would do a show without me.
I know we'd sit here and talk about movies and stuff, him and I. But what I
Yes,
was gonna say is, no, we're gonna make that happen. We're gonna make that happen.
I
A
love
show.
it.
There it is.
That'll
We're
be
gonna do.
fun.
That'll be good. What I was gonna highlight is you talked about you noticed these different little milestones that you were making when it came to healing and recovering yourself, as it were. But you
Yeah.
said sarcasm. Why was the sarcasm there from your perspective? I mean, you study psychology, you're a person, a learned person. Why was it there? Was it a defense mechanism? Was it a way that you were
Yeah.
returning passive aggressive behavior for survival? What would you say?
Yes. Yeah. Sarcasm is 1,000%. It's like, you know, for me, my weapons are my words at this point. And all growing up, again, as I was saying, it's like you're silenced. You are taught to be seen and not heard, to be obedient. Everyone is condescending, particularly your narcissistic parents. They can do no wrong. So you just kind of retreat to like this little shell of yourself, and you're very defensive all the time because you're constantly being, pointed out as the root of all problems. And then the sarcasm is just a way that we find to express our frustration. And that's where I was at for a long time. So that's like when you start to recover like your own identity and you get rid of these like trauma responses, I feel like that's healing. Recovery is educating yourself and getting on the right path to getting out from this terrible dynamic.
Yeah, and the environment of a narcissistic family, it can
Get
have
out of
a
it.
great deal of pressure then. Did you feel pressure from the environment to just not exist and be invisible?
Yes, or to just continue going along with the toxic cycle, perpetuating the dysfunction. And everyone speaks how, look, once you start to assert yourself and say, this is crazy. And ironically, I read somewhere that most people, like around the age of 40, which is like me perfectly to a T, around that you start to like see it for what it is. And you're like, I can't, this is unacceptable, but thank God I am so grateful that younger people are catching on to what's going on.
Well,
But
that is who you're talking to right now. That is
thank
who has
goodness.
asked for this show and the series that we did that they couldn't find anywhere else is just an almost unscripted, raw show of just talking about narcissistic families. I have to navigate. I know you're about to say something, but you know me. I have to navigate because we're going to
Do
put as
it.
much as put much in as possible. Let me get over here for a second. Let me see what we got going on here. What do we got? Self-effacing humor works among humble people, but among the wounded, it distracts from the injury. Any comments on of the refrain? Thank you, my friend, for your kind words the other day and also here during the show.
Yes. Self-deprecation. It's like you're constantly, at your own, everything's at our expense, right? The narcissist, the toxic, they're always elevating themselves at our expense, at the victim's expense. So we learn to do that too, right? To kind of just like be accepted by these people. We just sacrifice ourselves
We
and
we
our
we.
dignity.
So, did you find yourself jumping in on the bandwagon, putting yourself down because it just seems to be what everybody did to you to get along with everybody that way?
Absolutely. In the, family of origin. These people are not family, but for reference sake, I'll say it. I was always the bad one. Because I was always the black sheep, but rightfully so, man. Like we stuck out like sore thumbs because we're not meant to fit in. We're not one of them. We couldn't be one of them if we tried. It always felt wrong, and it's time to extricate ourselves from the dysfunction.
Now you're part of the sheep, except you're the black sheep of the family, as you've
Yes,
described it. A number of people love listening to you, follow your page, learn from you because you're trying to shed light on this aspect of being a black sheep. Somebody's hearing this for the first time. What does that mean, being the black sheep of the family?
I love being the black sheep. I love my black sheep
Oh man,
fellow,
you love your black sheep hoodism.
Yes.
You do.
It's yeah, by
You
the
need
way,
a
no
hoodie.
no
You need a
hoodie
hoodie.
today. Joe was gonna give me his marine hoodie, but I was like, no, I'm gonna look like put together today. So the black sheep are the truth tellers. Black sheep are the justice seekers. The black sheep are the ones that just won't conform. You can't take a back seat, sit down, and be quiet about abuse. In terms of ourselves, but seeing it around us as well. If someone's being mistreated, disrespected, abused, we're not the ones that are just going to turn the other cheek.
Mm-hmm.
Black sheep are the ones that break the cycle. God bless the black sheep.
Okay, now because you've experienced a number of things in your life, as so many on the planet, you're honing in on narcissistic families. You've experienced the death of a child, the
Yes.
serious illness of a child before their death, a number of things you've experienced, a relationship with someone who was self-absorbed, selfish, and did not recognize you. They were narcissistic in their behavior. But
Yeah.
right now, you're trying to highlight to others that there is a way back to yourself. There is a way that you can have your dignity. But here we go. You have read books, you have seen YouTube videos. There are people that have encouraged you, that you've inspired you maybe on this journey. Tell us a little bit about the books, the videos, different things that you've learned that you want to pass on to this younger generation or others who are experiencing this moment of recognizing that they have been abused.
I shared this in our last show. I learned this in my Narc abuse coaching class. A great starting point is Pete Walker's book. It's called CPTSD, From Surviving to Thriving. And it's like the Bible for narc abuse, dysfunctional home. I was like, I highlighted half that book. I was reading it and I was like, oh my goodness, this is everything. Pete Walker really breaks down the twisted dynamics that we endure, the different roles of the family members, the narcissist being, at the helm of everything, then the enabling parent that doesn't stand up for their own children, even the enabling parent that kind of condones and does the bidding for the narcissist that normalizes their dysfunction and lets them carry out all of their malice. Then there's the roles as children. There's the black sheep, there's the golden child, there's the lost child as well. So it just broke everything down, and everything he spoke about, like emotional flashbacks, which I suffer from all the time. I believe a lot of people do. It's just emotional flashbacks is something that you would not, again, it's also covert and insidious. It's like an emotional flashback is just, it can last from a short amount of, like, a couple of hours to a couple of weeks. And I noticed that about myself. Like, you're put in a situation where it's reminiscent of how you felt as a child. It's reminiscent of like how you were put down or dismissed, and it just puts you right back in that place, and you retreat to that like crummy, helpless feeling. Even though we're adults now, but
let's spend a little bit more time on that, or at least touch on it. I want to touch on it. Emotional flashbacks. This is something that even though a person is going through the healing, going through the recovery, doing a number of things, exercising, working out, things seem to be settling down. It can happen without notice.
Absolutely. Just going throughout your day. Like, I'm in a awesome relationship. I'm living my best life. I'm safe, secure, in a healthy environment, and something silly, man, like a disagreement with my husband or whatever. And I just, like I said, we have to identify in order to overcome our toxic programming. That's our foundation. You can't help it. It's in there. So we have to kind of uncover it as we're going. And something like, my one girlfriend was raised in a toxic household as well. And we both do it. It's like, when you're going through like an disagreement, something silly, and you just retreat, you just kind of shut down because we were not heard as children. We were not entitled to our feelings, our responses, our emotions. So you just shut down. And I'm working on that. I've been working on it, and I'm doing better. That's an emotional flashback.
Being heard helps, though. Being heard helps you when you're in those moments.
Yeah, for sure. Communication is everything. And Paxton, you brought this up. Like, communication is non-existent in a toxic, dysfunctional, narcissistic home, because communication is the enemy of the narcissist. You know, they want to control everything. They want to control everyone, every member of their domain as they see it. So nobody can communicate, because then you might compare notes and realize what's going on. They can't have that.
Okay, so you just mentioned something that pops into my head now. You said they don't want everybody to compare notes. They don't want people to start comparing what's happening over here and what's happening over here and go like,
Right.
oh, wait a minute. The common denominator is this person who's being toxic, selfish, self-absorbed, narcissistic.
Yes.
But in order to deal with the flashbacks and move beyond the emotional abuse step by step, a little bit at a time, you're saying we need to compare notes then, maybe with others, even outside the family that have gone through it. The more we compare notes.
That's why I love these
Go
communities. No,
ahead.
I'm sorry, I totally cut.
No,
But that's why I love what you're doing. Like, these shows, Paxton, and like my whole platform, like all of the resources, all of it, man. It's validation and it's support. And that's what we need more than anything.
Yeah. And if we're in a support role for someone, I'm throwing this out to everybody. If you're in a support role, if you're there as a father, as a mother, and you know you're trying to do your best to support your children, your mate, whatever it may be, comparing notes or letting them share their notes, you may not understand it, giving them an opportunity to communicate, to be seen and heard is invaluable. It's invaluable. So make sure you give them an opportunity to do so. Okay, I'll get back off my soapbox again. All right, so I got something here for you before we have to go here. Hold on a second here. You got some love on the screen, so here we go. You got this. You got some support there. Of the refrain says, working on it too.
Yeah, I'm sorry. These are glasses. They're blue light. Like, I can't read anything. Yeah. I'm at that point.
I got you. I got you covered, my friend.
I need you to read them.
So working on it too. Of the refrain says, those switches, triggers run deep. Work in
very
progress,
much.
Lifetime commitment.
Yes.
So that's a drop the mic moment there, my friend. Way to go. So that's something for each individual.
We're doing it, man. That's the important part. We're doing it. Yeah. We're doing it.
Yeah. So I hope you're ready for this, but you're not, because you trust me. Bad mistake. No,
of course.
Here we go. I'm gonna put it up on the screen. It's your posting, but here we go. Children brought up in narcissistic homes remain unheard, invalidated, and disrespected. Unheard, invalidated, disrespected. Unheard, invalidated, disrespected. Was that your lifestyle? Unheard, invalidated. Man, that's rough. Disrespected.
Yeah. And it's incredible, man, because nobody understands how painful this is and how just it's so psychologically destructive. It's just everything that, like, children are so beautiful and so perfect and vulnerable. And when your own parent is not listening to you, not acknowledging you, not respecting you, it's like, what is this? You know, it's like, I'm a mom now. My husband and I, we treasure our children. We cherish them. We love everything about them, their little personalities. And shoot, like, that's the whole beauty of them, is like, that's the awesome part about being a parent, is like getting to witness their personalities, getting to witness their creativity and everything that they're expressing. So when it's like, oh man, it's constricting. It's so damaging. It's so hurtful when someone, it's like the silent treatment. You know, I didn't know that until I read a book about it. I think it was in the book, The Verbally Abusive Relationship, but I didn't realize that the silent treatment, or stonewalling as narcissists do as well, That's
You never knew about that.
I never knew that was a form of abuse by just dismantling someone's self-expression.
Wow.
That's so toxic and so psychologically abusive.
Emotionally had a huge impact, no doubt. Still has ripple effects for you as a woman. How do you find your life now? If you had to describe the way you're able to express yourself, you're saying sarcasm is gone. A number of other things that were there are gone. That environment you're not in. But
I know, thankfully I write.
Yeah, but those individuals, you're right. Okay, you leading up to your book again. See, look at you trying to plug your book. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just
Let's
teasing.
do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it without a doubt. But right now, you're in a situation in which those individuals are still able to come around. How do you navigate
all the time, man?
when
It
you're
just
making
happened this
progress and
weekend.
they're coming back around? Give some advice to those that are going through that.
Yeah, like, okay, I blocked the toxic duo. I blocked them from all forms of communication, like email and my phone. My husband did the same thing, but for some reason, he still gets the text messages come through. He just ignores them. We ignore everything because your silence will speak louder than anything you've ever said to these people. You know, trying to converse with them is like talking to a brick wall, right? It's the definition of insanity. It's like, you know what, like Father's Day weekend just passed, right? And my toxic enabling father, like he had the audacity to contact me through Instagram, right? Like through my personal Instagram, he sent me a message, but he doesn't write like his own original, like authentic feelings. He forwards me things. So
okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. That's the first time you've ever told me that. I just like he forwards you things.
It's like somebody else's work. It's like narcissist love,
Should we not put this in the show and we should talk about it in private? I don't even know.
I know, right?
So,
no,
okay,
man, because this relates to everybody. I get so many people that contact me, messages and stuff that they're like, oh, they called me or they messaged me or they emailed me. Happens to me all the time, you guys. If you're interested in highlights in my Instagram, I put it all out there. I put it up there on my YouTube as well. But yeah, they don't stop. They just keep coming for you. And they will keep coming for you because they don't like being called out. It's like a narcissistic injury, right? Like they can't face reality. They can't stand someone challenging them or identifying them for what they're doing, the abuse. And the narcissists live for the phony facade that they try to, you know, support.
The refrain is saying that they are emotionally lazy.
So I love that. I have that. That's a post.
You might have to make a T-shirt, my friend, of that.
I might. I could.
Some people have connected with people who are emotionally lazy. It can happen in these narcissistic families. We're near the end of the show, so I've got a number of things that I want to lay out to you. So
they're not lazy; they just don't have it. I'm sorry, I wanted to respond to that.
No, that's
they're
okay.
not lazy. They are lazy in general in life. They're entitled, right? So they think everybody should do everything for them. But emotionally, they're barren. They don't have legitimate, like authentic feelings they don't have empathy. They don't have compassion. They don't have any of that genuine, authentic human decency that we have. So they don't have it. It's just not there. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Paxton.
No. Of the refrain, I could probably talk another hour on something that he brought up and things that you said, but we're not going to do that today. We're going to get Joe in here, and then I'm going to unleash all this other stuff that I got.
We'll come back.
In my head, and we'll talk about it. But here we go. Put this up. I want to talk about this on the way out. Smear campaigns was your posting. the juvenile efforts of the narcissist are ongoing, very similar to what you were just talking about, that these
Yeah.
efforts continue. How can a person prepare themselves? How can a person be ready to protect their emotions and their families when these narcissistic tactics are ongoing to disrupt their peace? How can a person pursue
Yes.
peace with smear campaigns coming at them?
Brace yourself because you know it's coming. That's all. Lemonade is so good. You know it's coming because narcissists have the maturity of a juvenile, like a child up to like the age of like 5, I think. It's absurd. You're not dealing with an adult human being, you're dealing with an adult child, a child that looks like an adult, but it turns into like your team versus my team, and they have to win. They have to put you down and to portray you in the worst light possible. And just take comfort. And like I always say, I firmly do believe that the truth speaks for itself. Anyone that legitimately knows you knows that that's not true, whatever they're spewing about you. Let them slander you all the heck they want. Anyone that believes them deserves them. Have fun with that, man. Like, they reap what they sow. These people are so toxic and unloyal and superficial and condescending and entitled. It's like if that's what these people, if that's what their cohorts want, have fun with it.
Most people try to follow, well, follow their feeling of I got to defend myself against every word that's said against me. They feel they need to stand up and fight every single thing that's said. Bad idea?
My husband just popped up and I was like, I didn't even know you were still here.
Is
Don't defend yourself.
is that Joe
Don't
back
even.
there?
Joe,
Is that
say hi. Paxton sees you back
I
there.
see you back there, man. There you go. Okay, go ahead. Don't defend yourself. Go ahead. You were saying,
You're gonna do a show with us one time. I
yeah.
love you. Bye, hon. So don't defend yourself against their garbage. It's like, don't even give life to it, man. Like I said, I'll say it a million times. Your silence will speak louder than anything you've ever said. It's just, it's like, resist. The narcissists feed off of reactions, good or bad. Any acknowledgement. They legitimize themselves by getting reactions from other people in this world. It's so twisted, but because they are so inferior and inadequate, that like by being able to impact someone else, that's how they substantiate themselves as individuals. So by you even acknowledging the garbage and the lies that they are putting out there, it's like, don't even bother, man. It's like, I can't believe this. Even before I knew about everything, back 20 years ago again, like when I was with the narcissist, when I was engaged to that loser, and he totally ghosted me. He lied so much about me, even to like his parents and in court documents. Paxton, that is the first time I learned that you can lie. People can lie in you're not supposed to, obviously. It's like perjury, but he did. He lied about me in court. He said things that were just straight, blatantly not true. And I was like, oh my goodness. And I was like, I'm not going to defend myself because it's absurd. It's like, it was just so absurd and off base. I was like, my character speaks for itself. And anyone that knows you knows that you're a good and anyone that doesn't and that wants to believe that garbage, like, enjoy. Have fun with that. They're all yours, you know?
You are, as of the refrain said earlier, a woman on fire. I
Aw.
you know, I enjoy doing these shows and bringing this information for my
Good.
audience. There is an audience that we had on Instagram. There's an audience that is now developing very strong and very welcoming here on YouTube. to
Awesome.
hear my guests. But you, I just love to unleash you. I just
I
poke
know
the
you
bear
get me
just
all fired
enough.
up, and then you're like, "All right, we're done." I'm like,
And I wish I had some way. There's some camera I could have, or be a fly on the wall when the show is over with, because you're probably amped up.
I am. I'm so amped up. I gotta like make a post or something.
And poor Joe is sitting there going like, "Do I got to get you some more Chick-fil-A, baby? Do I got to get
Yeah.
do I got to get in your good graces?" No, I know he doesn't talk like that, but I thought I'd try that. Anyhow, so look, you know, as I do, I love all my guests. I think the world of you because you are
Same.
not concerned about appearances, or do you have some separate agenda of trying to soak people out of their money so that you can make money talking about narcissism? You really are inclined to help whoever wants to get some assistance so that they can
Same.
navigate and protect themselves.
Same, Pax.
Much props for you, my friend. Without a
Thank
doubt, you're
you.
the real deal. Well, of the refrain mentioned here in the show, you're for real, and
Thank
what
you.
you say is for real because you're not trying to uh, showcase yourself and look and get into the community so you can make money. And that's why you're on the show. That's why we have the guests that we have because
I
you are. Ooh, look
appreciate
at the
you.
love you got on the screen here,
You gotta
Michelle.
read it, man.
He says Michelle, and he's saying Paxton. There is enough love to change the world. I guess that's what he's highlighting there for us. Thank you. Of the refrain, I must believe that I earned my seat in the community. It is an honor, is what he's saying. I'm telling you, the feedback that I get for you is from the people who truly get you, and
Oh, that's
everybody
cool.
wants others to get them. And
Right.
so I'm telling you, people understand what you're saying. Many of them are going through it, in which they feel like they're not wanted, they're not loved, they're not valued, they're not seen, and no one communicates with them. So thank you for being here. And the number of shows that we have just put in a series together, I will turn it into a mini movie at some point. It may be coming hopefully by
Yes.
Christmas. I'm turning just about every show into a mini movie and a
Ooh.
highlight reel of points and tips. You gave so many. I still have notes that I have not shared. So thank you so much for
There's
doing that.
so much information.
You came prepared today. You have new headset. You got the new microphone thing happening. You're all
I
ready
know
to
I'm
go.
so
The
excited,
whole
Paxton.
team,
God
the
bless
whole
you for
team,
dealing with me otherwise.
teamwork. Teamwork
Makes
makes
the
it
dream
happen.
work.
Yeah, there it is. So, listen, I need you to do me a favor. We're going to end the show,
Yes.
everybody.
Yes.
Love keeps coming on the screen there. Welcome
Aw.
to you. You're welcome, my friend. Of the refrain says, "Thanks, you guys. Stay healthy and happy. Love all around. Thank you. We appreciate you so much and all your support, subscribing, helping us with our merch store and getting products out of that, and helping
Yeah.
us keep the lights on and keep the show going by purchasing and donating. We appreciate it. What I was going to ask you, my friend, is as simple as you can put it. What have you learned about yourself by helping others?
I feel like we're all I get emotional. I feel like we're all in the same boat, you know? It's no one is better than anyone else. No one is more deserving or less deserving of love, validation, appreciation. Like everyone is unique, and I love everyone's unique qualities. And I've always strived to be the polar opposite of what I was raised under. So I'm finally able to like really honor that and put that out, and people just want to be seen and heard and able to express themselves. And I'm your girl, man. I will always validate and support everyone, particularly this community. It's I'm just there are good people out there. I've learned about myself, like I that I'm able to be vulnerable, I guess. You know, when you spend your whole life being defensive and fighting for yourself, you forget about that. You lose that element of yourself. And I'm sharing things obviously about myself on the daily, and it's okay, you know, I can be vulnerable, and that's cool.
You've made a huge impact as you get me all choked up here. Of the refrain said, "We survived the Titanic." And it's almost like you were on an emotional Titanic. Many find themselves on this emotional roller coaster in these troubling times that we're living in, full of critical problems. But you have put yourself out there to try to help as many as possible, my friend. Much love for you and your family.
Yeah.
A lot of respect for Joe, King Chick-fil-A. So you are the queen of Chick-fil-A. Now you guys make. Now I want some. Now, don't.
Right?
It's just crazy. You got that in my head. But
Little sips, big smiles, Paxton.
why you trying to do that? Why you trying to put that in my face like that?
If they want to, like, you know, if they want to sponsor us, bring it. Chick-fil-A all day.
Look at you. You got to stop hanging around Paxton. You're getting too many brand ideas. You be careful. Be careful. All right. So again, I repeat, much love for you, my friend. I'll do it on this side.
Same.
Much love for you, my friend. And I appreciate you doing all of these shows, getting us from the spring into the summer with a number of shows. Now, look, I got to say goodbye. I can't keep telling you I love you, and then your husband gonna think
I
I'm
love
trying to
you
make a
too.
move on you, and you're gonna
He likes you too. He loves you too,
So
Paxton.
he needs to be ready. We're doing a show together, and I'm not. He should know. You know, I'm not playing around. If I said it, we're gonna do it.
It's happening. It's
We'll
a date.
We'll work it out, and we'll make sure we do a show together, and he can share. I gotta go, my friend. Stuff keeps popping. You guys, I gotta go.
I'm sorry.
They keep popping stuff on the screen. Much love for you that they're putting up on the screen. And my friend of the refrain, come on, Michelle. Let's wave out to him. We're gonna wave out, and everybody, we'll see you next time. There's another show coming up at 1 p.m. The first show of Open Session podcast on our network here with Mel. Michelle, please stay the course. Okay.
You too, man.
See you later, my friend. Bye, everybody.